Hi, I'm Jack Murray. I am the president of ERAU HEMA.
Hello, my name is Joshua McGurn. I'm the Secretary and Treasurer of Historical European Martial Arts at Embry Riddle.
I'm Richard Pepe. I'm the Public Relations Officer for Embry Riddle HEMA Club.
Hello, my name is Cameron Bowles. I am the current armor for Historical European Martial Arts at Embry Riddle.
I am Josh Amons, an aeronautical engineering student at Embry Riddle.
Historical European Martial Arts, that is the acronym of HEMA.
Its primary function is to teach from old manuscripts for things like longsword, daggers, spears, things that you would find in historical Europe.
It was created by a man named Justin about 8 years ago, and he basically just went to the school, said he wanted a club for historical martial arts, and they allowed him to do it.
Throughout history, especially starting in the medieval ages, again around that 1300s period, people started writing down their techniques for fighting. Eventually people kept on evolving those techniques, and that gets us HEMA in the form that we see it today.
In the broad sense, was created as the internet became more of a thing. So then you had a bunch of people who thought, how did people actually sword fight back then? And they looked it up and they started thinking to themselves, why don't we do that?
I was into fencing at the time, but it wasn't getting me what I wanted out of sword fighting. And I stumbled across it while I was walking to my dorm, and they had actual longswords. And that is exactly what I wanted from sparring and sword fighting. So I went over and I joined.
I needed some exercise, and swinging a sword around is a lot more entertaining than going to a gym.
I was interested in high school, but there wasn't really any clubs in high schools or around me. Then I was walking around on campus one day and I happened to spot the HEMA Club, and I was like, hey, that's exactly what I've been looking for.
Funny enough, I've been kind of doing this stuff for about 6 years up until I came to Embry Riddle. I was extremely interested in the time period, especially about the technology that I had access to. But then it kind of evolved into fighting, and then I found HEMA.
I'd always been interested in fighting, made wooden swords at home with my siblings. We would spar in the yard. And then when I came to Embry Riddle, I was walking down the path one day, saw people beating each other up with swords. Perfect.
You get a lot of exercise. You also learn about the historical time period that you're interacting with. On top of that, you're also learning how to research actual historical documents.
Again, there's the exercise component, but also it's not just a matter of getting as strong as possible, because I'm not the strongest person out there, but it's also about getting a lot of physical control and being able to hone that in and basically become more accurate.
I think it's a great way to learn history hands-on and kind of learn how a historian might operate, because you yourself are looking at these manuscripts and trying to piece things together.
It's not engineering. Aside from that, the people are great. You learn things that might be useful to you if you want to pursue that career path, or I guess fighting path.
It's an alternative exercise method. You don't have to go into the gym with a bunch of sweaty guys and fight for equipment. You can just go out into a field outside and engage in entertaining exercise.
As an aerospace engineer, I sit down in class and build up a lot of steam. So at the end of the day, I'm tired and I just don't want to use my mind anymore. So going out and being able to do something physical, while it's still using your mind, it's not as mentally taxing as math.
Again, in those ways we talked about, the exercise, the control. Also, everybody who we've met there is very nice, so it's an added benefit.
I'm around a group of relatively like-minded people, and we all get along well, and we're all doing cool stuff. It's always fun.
I mean, me for one, I aim to compete professionally eventually, travel a bunch. So this is a good baseline for that.
Of course, it's been a mental release, a way to relax. There's nothing quite like combat to calm you down.
A typical meeting usually starts with all of the members coming together. We might say a few announcements at the beginning of practice, but right at 7, we start doing stretches, and then we do a quick warm-up, then we get started with the practice.
We actually have 3 different types of meetings. Some meetings are more seminar style, so we'll all, as a group, learn either particular weapon techniques or particular concepts. Then we have surveys, which are more breakout practices. These are people are working in small groups on what they want to work on. And then Fridays we do sparring.
Set up a circle with cones, get everyone else lined up in case who wants to fight next. Maybe about 2 fights past the first.
You have your 2 fighters, you have a head ref, you have someone who keeps time, someone who keeps score, and then everybody else around are side refs.
The fighters decide on the weapon that they want. They put on all the protective gear that they need, which includes a gambeson, gloves, helmet.
The ref and the combatants, they'll meet and discuss, how they want to do the fight. And then everyone goes to their corners, ref says go, and they go until the time runs out.
INCF, or free sparring. This is 2 people take usually a long sword. The way you win is it's a 3 out of 5 match where you're clashing with the opponent and trying to get the other person on the ground. And this is unlimited time and only goes into grappling and fighting like that.
I finally got to experience it recently. It's called armored sparring, and it's made to essentially simulate 2 kind of fully equipped knights fighting each other. So you have 3 rounds using 3 different weapons each. There's no like halt and go back or anything like that. You just keep going to get as many points as you can until the timer runs out. It's very exhausting, but it's very fun.
I personally enjoy the sword and shield. It allows me to engage on my own terms.
Longsword, definitely. We do have a variety of weapon types, but been doing longsword the longest. That's why I joined in the first place, and so longsword's the best.
Favorite weapon? Honestly, spear. Although one-handed swords are my favorite, even more than that. Looking for challengers. Anyone in Florida, hit us up. We'll meet you halfway.